Uh, it was just an ordinary day, which we were still doing some politics, but I knew that the U.S. played Russia on 2 days after we had this tremendous political victory. Okay, so we were still out politicking, and I remember seeing Boris Spassky after his game that day leaving with a different, really gorgeous-looking woman. The women were throwing themselves at her, under his arm, and he went off. I don't think he went off because she wanted chess lessons from him. I don't believe that was, but anyway.
Up for debate, you'll never know.
But anyway, I went out, we did our usual politicking, I stagger in about 1 o'clock in the morning, or maybe it was 1:30 into the hotel. And, we were still, as Ed said, Leroy, because I until I met Ed and we went into this, I was a teetotaler, never had any alcohol. He said, you got to drink. And so, he eventually found out even if I was drunk, wouldn't spill the beans. I just got quiet and fell asleep, okay? But because the first day I came to Puerto Rico, someone who was a teetotaler, they stuck me with 15 drinks. You could pass out from it, but I couldn't. They then were having me play cards to see what happened at one of the casinos. I couldn't count to 21. You have to know how many points. But they said I won some money, so that was good anyway. But here I come in, I'm sitting down. I said, we were in the same hotel as the Russians, and as I'm about to get in the elevator, the door opens and in staggers, and I mean staggers, Boris Spassky. He's weaving a little. So I'm looking at him, and he says, I knocked her, okay? I'm looking there, and they had a little bar there in the hotel, and there was still a guy there. He says, how about a nightcap? Now, I knew we were playing them the next day, and he was going to play Bobby Fischer. So immediately I thought, the guy's drunk. If I can help get him drunker, that's a patriotic American. I said, good idea. So we went up to there, a little thing. I was worried he might fall off the seat and the Russians would say I tried to kill him, but I had a witness, namely the bartender was there, just the bartender, 2 of it. He sits down. I said, what do you have? I said, treats on me. He says, oh. He says, I have a double. I said, oh, well, I make it 2, I think. Holy Jesus, double, I'm getting twice. So anyway, we're sitting there, we're drinking. Okay, I needed that double drink like I needed a hole in the head, but I wasn't going to play chess the next day. If I had a hangover, who cared? Okay, the politics was already done. We had won. So he drinks and he's sitting down there, and then no, it wasn't that. No, he said, I'm treating you. It was even better. He actually treated me. And then I said, it's only fair. You treated me. I got to treat you. And the bartender said, what? Couple more doubles for you guys? And Boris looks around and for me, he says, I think maybe I had enough. Thanks. I said, you sure? I said, I feel bad. You treated me. That's okay. He passed me on the back, and he staggers. I thought there was 1 or 2 little steps down to the lobby because this was slightly raised. I thought he'd fall down, but he didn't. He made it to the elevator and was trying to push around to find the button. Okay, then he staggered in. And I'm thinking, and he plays him tomorrow at noon? I said, oh, this is good. So, of course, I go up. Ed and I always had breakfast together, and I report to Ed. And he says, he was drunk. I said, he was drunk when he came in. And I said, I don't think he went off with that young lovely to teach her chess. And Ed says, excellent. He says, how many drinks you get in? So I told him we got 1 set of 2 drinks. He said, why didn't you offer to buy it? I said, I did, but the damn guy thought he maybe had too much. And I said, oh, this is great, okay? He said, you must never tell anyone about this, though. I said, why? He said, Fischer may be able to beat, he had never beaten him in his life. And if Fischer beats him, and Fischer had the black pieces, we can tell him, you see, even with the white pieces, you're a better player than he is. Because we got to break this, the confidence. He had never beaten him. So I said, good. So we're smiling, we're watching it. Fischer plays the Grunfeld, actually the variation I played. And he played it up to a point, and he makes this weird move. I'm thinking, you should move your rook here. And looking back at the game, because I put it on a computer nowadays, he made a bad move. My move was correct, and it leads to black having a little advantage of half a pawn, if you look at the computer. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with Fischer? He makes a couple other odd moves. Now, meanwhile, Spassky, when he came in, just could barely move. He just sat down there. And he was playing very passively, which is why Fischer with black was getting a plus of a game if he played it right. They kept feeding him something. I'm sure it was the strongest coffee. I mean, the Ruskies could get him. Mm-hmm. And he started playing more and more aggressively as a couple hours went by. He must have had phenomenal stamina that he could pull himself out of this shit, okay? And in the end, guess who won? Spassky. I mean, I sat there with my jaw dropping down because for that one brief time I was saying, Leroy, you are the greatest. First we defeat the goddamn Russians, get control of the World Chess Federation, and then you even take care of Spassky so that Fischer wins. What a guy you are. I mean, I was so thrilled with what I had done. And I'm looking there at Ed, and you know what Ed's comment is? He says, Leroy, I guess old Boris can hold his booze. What else could you say? I said, how the hell could Fischer not